Racism and discrimination played a huge part in making me feel less than I was. You see, with the children that I am growing up with, they hurt me, yes. But the adults within the school hurt me more than the children ever did. Because these people are employed to make me feel safe and, help my mom and my dad raise me to be the best that I can be. My parents send me to school thinking that I am okay in the presence of all these teachers. But even after the residential schools were closed, or the last of them were closing, I am still facing the same kind of torment that these children in residential schools faced. It's a cycle. Racism is humiliating. It is demeaning. It kills character. It kills a person's personality. It kills their self-esteem, their self-worth, their self-image. Racism is a sickness caused by the devil, brought into our lives through black magic. Black magic worked at certain times throughout my life against me to diminish my spirit. We as people, we blame the parents because they raised these children to act like that. But you know what? Some of those girls that turned their backs on me, and that kept me at arm's length, and that called me names, and that laughed when other people called me names, they came from good families. They weren't raised like that. They were raised to pray, and they were raised to have God in their life. But because they didn't want to be ostracized and shunned like I was, they followed along suit. From other people who had also been affected by black magic, but on the flip side. So instead of being, a victim of racism, they were the perpetrators of racism. Do you get me? I went to school with a couple of friends that I knew to have families that were believers. I had other friends that, their families only went after money. And I had other ones that were considered trailer trash. And then I had ones that were just average white families. And every child from every parent, except for one child, turned their back on me. And that one child with the golden blonde hair and the white skin. She was also picked on. She was picked on for being a believer in Christ. When she walked with God. God was her backbone. Jesus held her hand. And she was ostracized, but she didn't care. She didn't care because she had so much faith in God and in Jesus and in prayer that she could be herself at any cost. And nobody had any power over her because she was that firm in her belief. She was picked on, but she taught me so much, and she helped me keep my faith that everything would be okay, and that this is just one chapter of my life. You see, all of these children that were from all of these different families, they all, I'd say majority of them, believed in Christ. But, the devil was still able to pull at all of them. And have their children turn their backs on other people and join in on the name calling and the racist and the discrimination. Except for one. One who was raised to be a firm believer in Christ. I'm told today that she is a pastor. She's also the person that took me to church for the very first time. And whenever I was going through a lot of racism and discrimination during school, she'd always invite me over. And I always felt comfortable and safe at her home, because her home was filled with the Lord. Every single one of her family members were firm believers. When I was in grade 8 or grade 9, when I was in grade 9, I was in science, and this instructor that I had, this teacher that I had, she didn't believe, she would pick on me, and she would belittle me in front of everybody and try to make me feel really small. And my friend, Connie, she helped me to pull my marks up, because she could understand why my marks were so low. It's because I'm the one who is getting singled out all the time. And when I'm asking questions, my teacher is explaining in a way that I can't comprehend. And I'm trying to ask her, like, in layman's terms, what is this? And so Connie took me under her wing, and we studied, and she tested me, and we studied, and she tested me, and we studied, and I got a higher mark than she did, because I put all of that effort. And she explained things in a way that I could understand, and without all of that negativity being pushed at me all the time, I wasn't feeling so lost in class, right? So I was lifted spiritually. And when I was lifted spiritually, I was able to surpass the girl that is tutoring me. And I was able to surpass the 2 other girls in class that had higher marks. And my teacher accused me of cheating because I had a 96%. And she had a 95%. And the other girls had 97%. And she made me do this final exam all over again. And it was the final exam. She made me take a different test. And I had a weekend to study for it. And it didn't matter, even if my girlfriend is telling her, like, she can't see that far. There is no way that she could have copied my exam, because I write so tiny, and I hide my sheet. And she wears glasses, and she can't see that far. She still made me take this test over again. And my girlfriend says, that's okay. I don't care if you get, like, we're going to shoot for 100. So she helped me that weekend. And I got that 100%. And even still, that teacher tried to make me take it over again, because she still didn't believe that I was capable of achieving anything, because she had purposely belittled me so that I couldn't succeed. And that is who we send our children to go and help us raise our children.